Hi, I'm Richard Atherton. This is my review of Broadcast Yourself, the programme by the London Academy, led by Mr. Brian Rose. So the short version of this is, if you want to be a podcaster, or if you're kind of podcasting but haven't really found your rhythm, then do this program. It just works. In 8 weeks, if you follow all the steps, you will be up and running and in a rhythm podcasting. So go for it, dive in. That said, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the program from my perspective. So like I said, the good is this really, as a structure, as a set of coaching inputs, has you in action, creating podcasts. You get some great insights from Brian. He's on live calls twice a week with you, and he shares everything from his process right down to the notes that he's used for some of his most famous interviews. So you get an incredible amount of value from Brian, and the way it's structured really keeps you in action throughout the 8 weeks. And as a result of it, I have the Being Human podcast. I have 8 shows live. I've interviewed some incredible guests. I've had feedback already of how my episodes have changed people's lives. So it's just a fantastic thing to do. If you've ever considered creating a podcast, there were people that I'd imagined interviewing before I did this program, but I'd never actually taken action on, who I've now interviewed, and their shows are now live. That's the good. I recommend it 100% if you want to turbocharge your podcasting career. I say the bad, it's kind of a bad in quotes, in that it's a massive time commitment. And certainly I didn't take away from any of the pre-sales for this, just the level of equipment commitment required for this program. I'd say 10, 20 hours a week. So I had childcare commitments, I had work commitments, and there were certainly weeks where I was totally overwhelmed by the amount of work to be done. So if you've got a lot of existing commitments in your life already, then do whatever you can to create space before you get into the 8 weeks, because it's going to hit you like a bus, maybe after end of week 2. The other thing is, you don't get that much you certainly get very little in one-to-one coaching from Brian, I guess, as you might expect, but maybe you're going to get a few minutes over the course of 8 weeks. I mean, my program is well over 100 people. So in terms of, whilst you do see him live and he does take questions, your actual coaching from Brian is going to be very limited. You will get a little bit more coaching from the team coaches, but again, it's broken down to about a 20-to-1 ratio. So I certainly got some good inputs from my team coach, but you won't get a great deal from those structures in terms of one-to-one coaching. Where the program comes into its own is the peer group that you end up with. So in that 20-person team that I was in, I got an enormous amount of support. I got technical expertise. There was a guy in our team who was a marketing whiz, Robert Bruce. Shout out to you. It gave me a load of advice and everybody else in the team. So, and I'm guessing that was similar in all the other teams, because there are so many of you on the course. You've got this really rich peer coaching environment, which I certainly benefited from. Okay, the ugly. So there's one practice that I had a real issue with, and that's at the end of every week, the administrator for the program for each team calls out a star and a clown. And in my work, I'm a stand for humanity in the workplace. First Human, which is the coaching and consulting company I founded, this is really at the core of our message and what we go to work on in organizations. So it really got my goat, this "you're a clown" business. And I had my turn, like 4 modules in or something, it was my turn to get called out. I had a slow week, and I called bullshit on it. On the live call, 100 people. Brian kind of snapped and told me to watch my language, which was fair enough, and then told his team to cut my mic and how I should follow up with him separately. I didn't follow up with him separately. I'd sent a previous message and hadn't had a reply, so he's a busy guy. I didn't have much expectation of a response, so I didn't follow up separately with him. I continued to call out the practice on the weekly feedback forms and heard nothing back from the team. So I guess they're pretty committed to it. Was it indicative of or characteristic of a broader bullying culture? In my opinion, no, not from what I saw. Overall, the culture was very supportive. Do I think they should drop this practice? Emphatically, yes. Do I give them a pass, given the overall value that I got from the program? Yes. In summary, if you want to become a podcaster, take this program. If you'd like to check out the fruits of my work over the 8 weeks, then check out Being Human, the podcast, on iTunes. I'll also put a link to it here for the YouTube series when we get that live. And if you'd like to learn more about what we do as a company in terms of coaching and consulting, then head over to firsthuman.com. I've been Richard Atherton. Thank you.